going to start today off a little bit more chill, a little bit different. So I understand the undercurrent of overwhelm that can take over as an entrepreneur and a creator. I mean, I'm 18 years of full-time creatorship, making my full-time living as a creator. My first 12 or so years of being a creator was literally month to month. Once in a while, I would score a little jackpot and I'd have 3 months of bills covered, but it was month to month for probably 150 months straight. And so I understand overwhelm very, very well. I understand trying to manage a lot of things, relationships, parenting, partnerships, figuring out marketing, building products. I understand how we can feel really scattered with the many things on our list to do and the uncertainty of like, what is the absolute priority for me in this moment with my business today? For myself, before we dive into a little guided experience that will hopefully chill the nervous system and allow us to open up and listen to the spirit of your business, because your business has a spirit. When we have these creations take on a life of their own. They become our children. I have many creative babies that I've built and shared with the world. And I know that when I give the time and space to listen to these creations, they speak very clearly to me and they give me my next steps. And so that's become, after 18 years of doing what I do, that's become habitual for me to take space to listen and then to figure out what actions I need to take in order to be open up to the next steps that my business and my creations want me to take. And so this is a part of it. And so I'll just share one thing that I've found really works for my wife and I. Just this last Sunday, we realized that we felt scattered. We're entering into a fall season soon. And so with the seasonal changes come changes in daylight, changes in scheduling, changes in habits and patterns. So with those changes, we always take a seasonal step back and we just look at the calendar. We look at our lives, we look at our intentions, we look at what do we want to add, what do we want to take away, and how do we want these next few months to go for this next season. And so what we did on Sunday is we brought our coffee outside, we chilled at our spot, and we spent 3 hours with our journals planning out our next 4 months of calendar. We planned out our events, we planned out my launches, we planned out partnerships. We basically, both of us brought a big list of the questions that we had that we wanted to process through. And we talked through everything. One of the ways in which we make decisions in our life, if any of you've ever heard of kinesiological muscle testing, basically our bodies are incredibly wise. Kinesiological muscle testing is a real thing. Chiropractors will do it. Holistic practitioners will do it to test what foods are good for your body. And we can also do it personally as a way to figure out what is truth and what is strong inside of our body so that we can figure out if a decision we're about to make is a decision that's good for us and for everybody involved. And so what we do is we bring our big list of questions and we will do this process of muscle testing. We'll muscle test each other and we'll go through our huge list of like, is it the highest good to do this project? Is it the highest good to go on this trip? Is it the highest good to do this? And you do it as an affirmative statement. And so, what I would do for my muscle testing practice is I'll clamp these two fingers. And this is something that this has taken literally, I've been muscle testing for about 15 years. I have made some of the silliest decisions of my life through muscle testing. I've actually never, I don't know if I've ever shared this publicly, that muscle testing is like a big part of my life. So grab your hands like this, you make a little ring and you put about 50% pressure on there. You're not trying to like squeeze, 50% pressure. What happens is our body, for those of you that haven't heard of muscle testing, our body stays strong for something that's in alignment, something that is true for us, something that is healthy for us. And our body goes weak for something that is negative, something that is untrue, something that is out of alignment. And so if I just try to pull my fingers apart real quick like this and I go, my name is Bradley, that's truth. So my body will stay strong. If I say, my name is Susie, my body instantly goes weak. I apply the same amount of pressure. So my name is Bradley. My name is Susie. It's the highest and greatest good for me to shut the computer right now and leave everybody behind. No, because that's not true. But it's the highest good for me to show up to this session fully present to support everybody. That's a strong yes. So what we do is we go through our whole list of statements. It's the highest good to do this. It's the highest. So for you, it's like, it's the highest good to put my kid into school this year. It's the highest good for everybody involved for me to write my book. It's the highest good for everybody involved for me to make this course. It's the highest good for me to launch this course in the month of March 2023. It's the highest good for me to build a meditation library. It's the highest good for me to focus on my coaching practice right now instead of building an online course. And so if we just take the time to meditate, to ground ourselves, and then we can check in with our body's own intuition. I recommend doing muscle testing out in nature so that your feet are on the ground, you're grounded. And the one thing I've learned over 15 years of doing this is that our mind may want to manipulate the answers. We may get attachments to something that we think is the best, but it's not necessarily the best. So we have to really pay attention to inside our body. And I would recommend, just as an experiment for the next week, to try the muscle testing with decisions you're about to make, about going out for dinner with a friend, having a glass of wine at nighttime, whether you eat a certain food or not eat a certain food, or planning out your day in the mornings, and just practice doing it and then listening to the pulse of what stays strong as you practice it. It will take a while to get into it. So again, these are the two fingers I do. And I'll put about 50% pressure, like not too much pressure, but not too light that it always slips away. And then you really want to like listen to the vibration of the words that you're speaking when you're pulling your hands apart. So just practice with your name. Everybody practice your name, make an affirmative. My name is, and do the true name and pull right at the end of saying the statement, and then try a fake name and see if you can go. I'm going to shut up so you can pay attention to your own voice and do it out loud. So speak it out loud and see how it goes. And I always find holding my hands in front of my heart, because there's a field around our heart, it just makes it a little bit more powerful. Okay, just out of curiosity, how many of you stayed strong for your name and went weak for a false name? So a part of it, again, we didn't meditate before this. The idea is like you want to get really grounded. You really want to feel what it is that you're speaking. And a lot of the times when my wife Celeste and I, when we do the muscle testing process, we'll test each other. So she's actually pulling my fingers so that we can't manipulate it. She's getting the feedback. We're pinging off each other, and she'll call me out. She's like, I think you tried to make that strong. And I'll be like, I don't think I did, but maybe let's try again. Let's rephrase the statement. Sometimes we have to rephrase the statement. Never do it as a question. It's always a statement. We're trying to align with the highest truth for ourselves. So this is something, if you watch YouTube videos about like muscle testing to find truth, I'm sure you'll find a whole bunch of stuff. This is a real thing. Real doctors use muscle testing to test people's bodies to figure out what's wrong with them, what to prescribe them, what's going on, what supplements you might need, what food you're eating that is unhealthy for your body. So for me, like I ate oatmeal for 4 or 5 years. I had a nasal congestion. I couldn't breathe through my nose for 4 or 5 years. I ended up finding out I was allergic to oatmeal. When I finally tested myself, I was like, oh my God, I'm so weak when I say it's the highest good for me to eat oatmeal for breakfast today. And so I had no idea until I really like tuned in with myself. So that's step one about ending overwhelm. If you have a list of things that you feel confused about, I highly recommend you make a long list of all the questions that are swirling through your mind of like, it's the highest good to do this. It's the highest good to do that. It's the highest good for me to approach that. It's the highest good for me to talk to this person. Highest good for me to partner with these people. And then once you've gone through that list, just sit for a moment, be present, get yourself calm, do some breathing, and then do some of that muscle testing to really just see if there's truth or not. And again, this is a practice. I've been doing it 15 years, so I feel pretty accurate when I'm making decisions. And it's something that is widely accessible. Our bodies have a lot of wisdom to guide us in our lives.